Howdy, folks. Howdy, folks. I'm Black Dragon, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Black Dragon Biker News Network. Biker news you can trust. And I'd like to thank my co-host, Mike Ball. And we've got K Wayne sitting out there, the gatekeeper, in the commentary, helping moderate everything. We got to do this all over again because yesterday our thing was taken down. So we want you guys to join us Monday through Friday. That's right, Monday through Friday as we get down. This is the number one biker news station in all the world. The number one biker news station in all the world. Somebody laughed at that the other day, but they were wrong to laugh at us because we are number one.
Fantastic.
Man,
10 out of 10.
I don't understand why they hate us so much, man.
Man, listen, I've never received hate from anyone that is doing better than me.
Ha!
You know what I mean? Let me also explain one more thing. Hate always comes from below. You know what I mean? So let's just leave it at that.
Hate comes from below. I like that. I've never received hate from anyone that was doing better than me because they don't have time.
Right.
They don't have time to watch you. They don't have time to be looking at your stuff, and they damn sure don't have time to hate you. And speaking of hate, my reveal video got taken down yesterday. We spent an hour and a half of our lives yesterday, Mike Ball, and either somebody complained on us or just Google itself, YouTube didn't like what we did, or somebody complained on us, or both. But
right.
Let's go to the screen. I'm going to show you guys something you probably never seen before. That's the back office of a guy like me. Anybody that has a YouTube channel has a back office, and this is the back office of my channel. And this is what happened yesterday. It tells you a bunch of stuff, how many people are watching, and said I got 150,000 subscribers 6 days ago. Man, that was cool. Yeah. And then right here, it says that my content, did Black Dragon really take the stand against a 1%er, was removed due to a violation of our community guidelines. We realize you may not have known this was a violation, so you did not get a strike or a warning. As you can see, I do have one warning currently. I don't know how long this has been up, like 3 months. Like, they're not playing with you when they give you these warnings and stuff. They aren't whistling Disney. They will take your channel away. So they said I was guilty of cyberbullying, and either somebody called on me and complained, or wrote in on me and complained, or their human robot got me. Not human robot, but their bot got me.
Their AI, yeah.
Their AI said that something about me telling the story of the guy who beat my daughter and almost murdered her, some kind of way, I bullied him. So here, Micah, is the cyberbullying rules that they sent me to. We do not allow content that targets someone with prolonged insults or slurs based on their physical traits or protected group status, like age, disability, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, or race. We also don't allow other harmful behaviors like threats or doxing. And I think they got me for the doxing because I didn't threaten anyone and didn't do all this other stuff. Keep in mind that we take a stricter approach on content that targets minors. And so as I came down, they told me specifically that they didn't like posting an individual's non-public, personally identifiable information, like a phone number, home address, or email address, to direct abusive attention or traffic towards them. For example, saying I got a hold of their phone number, call and leave messages until they pick up, or something like that. So they believe that what I did was closely along those guidelines, that some kind of way I picked on him. And so when they showed me, they show you the particular thing you did wrong in the video. They stop the video. When you hit the button, it plays. You know how this works. They
Oh, I
play
do.
what you did wrong. And so what they played was me saying the word ADDRESS. I said, oh, this is the ADDRESS. Right. And so
Wow.
I'm not going to use that word, ADDRESS. I'm going to just, and so what I have done, I'm going to redo this video. Plus, the video was an hour and a half. I was on here crying like a little girl. So the video was an hour and a half long. And here's the crazy part. The video's still up on your platform.
It is on mine. Yep. It's
They
still up on mine perfectly fine.
They took it down from me, but they left it up on your platform. So if you want to see the video in its whole hour and 30-minute entirety, go to Insane Wheels, run that across the bottom, Mike. Go to Insane Wheels, Michael Ball's YouTube channel, or his Facebook page, Insane Wheels. And you will be able to see, you're right, it's the same on Facebook, right? Insane Wheels?
So everything on YouTube is Insane Wheels. Anything off of those platforms, just like social media, all that is Ball Valve TV.
So if you go to your Facebook platform, it's Ball Valve TV.
Yeah.
You'll be able to see
Mike Ball. Yeah.
Or Mike Ball, and you'll be able to see the whole video in its entirety. But for this video, we're going to make it way shorter. But they took it down. They took it down. Except on my channel, they took it down. On your channel, it's still there. So again, and Mike put a link to your video in the comments.
Gotcha.
So if you want to see this same video, the long, extended hour, 30-minute version of it, go to Mike Ball's channel and watch it there. I try not to be too critical of me. I was very upset yesterday. And the reason that I was upset is because I've been doing coverage. I've been covering for a long time at first it was supposed idea that the 1%ers on the black set and the mixed race set, because you guys do know motorcycle sets are still highly separated by race. We all get along. We all go see each other, but we still have this separation by race thing, kind of like the prison system. So we're still separated by race, and on the black and mixed race sets, biker club sets, on the black and mixed race biker club sets, the black and mixed race 1% dominant MCs have decided, at least for now, to have a truce. A truce. They're not going to be killing each other and fighting each other. That's not to say that there won't be any trouble, but they're going to try to bring all trouble down to a meeting somewhere at a table. Maybe they'll even have like a coalition of them. This is me pondering right now. And maybe they can settle things. But what they're going to stop doing is having it where when you're at a partying and say the Wheels of Soul show up, or the Thunder Guard or something, Outcast or something, when they show up, a lot of times people just flee. I'm out of here. And they don't want that. It's not good for business. It's not good for reputation. And they don't want that. They don't want to be, if the Wheels of Soul are at a party chilling and the Outcasts walk in, they don't want particularly everybody to flee. And it's not good for them. It's not good for personnel. It's not good for anything. So they have tried. The leaders of these groups have gotten together, the national presidents, national vice presidents, sergeant at arms. And listen, this is a big task. It's a huge task because there are so many people that have real live feelings. Like if you shot my homeboy last year, my line brother we came in the club together at the same time and prospected, and you shot him, and my national over in Tennessee somewhere says that we got to be friends. Well, I'm not feeling all that. And so they got to work and massage because there's many years of many years of anger and stuff like that between them. Many years of that. And this is not going to be something easy. But they are absolutely trying. They're absolutely trying, attempting, working at making it better for them, for their downline, for their futures, for the kids that are coming in. You know, what's really crazy about a lot of this is we fight battles in motorcycle clubs that were started by generations ago of brothers. And we don't even know what the fight's about. I just know I hate you. I come in, I put on this patch, and a guy that I was friends with and went to high school with, he put on another patch, and now we're mortal enemies. And we used to grow up eating in each other's homes. So it is a tall cry. And one of the things that happened last year was some of these kids, some of these young guys, these 1%ers that were making music, Tayshawn and Pipeline and a couple of these guys from different clubs, they came to me and they said, "Hey man, we're going to be having a truce. It's going to come. We're working on this and we're putting together a music video, and we want you to be in this music video because we're going to announce what's going on. This music video is going to be kind of an announcement, kind of like a celebration of what we're doing, and we want you to be in a music video." And that happened in Daytona Beach last year. When we made the video, I told everybody about it, and then I never saw anything. Because the powers that be did not sanction that video to come out yet. And then about a month or two ago, a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago, boom, it'd been several months had gone by. I hadn't heard anything about it. I was like, oh man, those guys, I guess they weren't going to do that. And boom, the video comes out, and now there had been this approval. And I got pictures and stuff of all these 1%er nationals and stuff, shaking hands and stuff. Some of those I've shared with you guys. So then I get this email I get this message on the, so there's a party between the Thunder Guards and the Wheels of Soul. Not between them, with them. There's a party. We're so used to talking like that, right? So there's a party with the Thunder Guards and the Wheels of Soul, and I think some other 1% clubs may be there. And this is going to be happening in South Carolina. And this is very, very exciting. They're going to be doing this and everything. And I talked about it. And I see this thing in my window talking about in the comments, talking about, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, and that video didn't have anything to do with this, and blah, 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 blah. All this like hate. What did you say? Hate comes from below? All this hate. And I'm like, who? Geez, Louise. And I'm not going to have you talking about two clubs and you don't know anything about, and you don't know what you're talking about. And everything I'm talking about has been hand-fed to me by the folks that are doing the things that they're doing, and they want the information out. So they tell me a lot about it. Now, I'm not going to be mistake-proof. I might not get this detail or that detail right, but I'm going to get the general story right. And somebody comes back and says, hey, man, drop that energy and, don't show up with that same energy. I'll show up wherever I want. You don't know who I am. If you only knew who I was. And then he says, the guy you're protecting, Black Dragon, this guy is a rat who took a 1%er to court and caused him, he took the stand. I'm sorry. This guy's a rat who took the stand against a 1%er and caused him to lose custody of his child.
Right.
And that baffled me for like 2 or 3 days. Like, who in the hell is this? And what are they talking about? But I kept looking at the words. A rat that took a 1%er to court, took the stand against a 1%er. And when I saw all of that, man, I finally realized who this guy was. You mean my ex-son-in-law, the man who beat my daughter for years and decided one night that he was so angry that he was going to beat her and strangle her and tell her he was going to kill her and convince her in convincing fashion that her life was imminent and she was about to die. That guy, that's the guy who has told everyone that I went to court against him. I guess he's telling all his brothers that. Anyone who will believe him, telling them that I took him to court. I got on the stand. And for my daughter, I would get on the stand in a heartbeat. For my grandson, I'd get on the stand in a heartbeat. Oh, this guy who also used my grandson as a human shield against the police, not to go to jail. But I didn't take the stand because, quite frankly, I didn't have to. My attorney, her attorney, my daughter's attorney, said, I don't need that. You ain't got to take the stand. You're a national president of a motorcycle club. You don't take the stand against that guy. I whoop his ass without you taking the stand. So I don't know why he would think to tell people that. And I use this as a learning experience, and that's why I'm doing it again. I'm using this as a learning experience, a teaching experience. We teach MC protocol here. And the reason you would tell somebody Black Dragon took the stand, he's a rat who took the stand and caused the 1%er to lose custody of his child. He took the stand against the 1%er because this is rah-rah stuff. Rah, 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 rah. You want to rah-rah the troops up, rah-rah the guys up, so that you can use them to accomplish something you need to be accomplished. Catch them up in some trouble over something that ain't even really the truth. It's manipulation on the highest level. It's manipulating of your club brothers. And it's important that you do what was his name? Khrushchev said, trust but verify. I trust you, but I want to verify. And so in the biker club world, it used to be when you put somebody out bad, you produced receipts. These are the receipts for the case. And the reason that I got in trouble, I guess, is maybe because his address was showing when I showed this. So I'm going to go through this more quickly. We've already been at it for 15 minutes. If you want to see the whole drawn out thing, go to Mike Ball's page. But we're going to go over here to the incident report. I'm just going to give you the receipts. No address, nothing like that. I'm not even going to say that word anymore. But this is the police report. It's publicly available. Now, they say here in this thing, you can't post information that's non-public and personally identifiable information. This is public. Anybody can get this. All you got to do is send an email to, where is it? I can't seem to get back to it. All you got to do is send an email to the Bell City Police Department, and all you got to do is ask for case number 201-500-6743, and you'll be able to read this very public identifiable information, and it's all redacted, so you can't tell the names of minors and stuff like that. But this is what happened on May the 6th, 2015 at 2:40 hours. Officers responded to an address we've redacted in reference to a report of domestic disturbance. Upon arrivals, they made contact with my daughter, who was distraught and located in the front of the residence. She was crying and in an excited state. She advised that her boyfriend, the 1%er who has accused me of snitching on him, had forced her from the residence following a physical altercation. He had grabbed her by the neck and slammed her up against a television inside the residence. She advised that he then choked her with his hands, restricting her ability to breathe. He also struck her in the face using the palm of his hand. He dragged her out into the front yard and fled back into the residence, locking the door when officers arrived. When he saw the cops, he turned and ran like the criminal he was. At that time, I observed markings and injuries on her, the cop said, around her face, neck, and chest, all consistent with the described assault. He then the officer observed him through a window, the kitchen window, near the front door of the residence, eating a TV dinner. He approached the residence and made contact. He approached the residence and made contact. I see you, Mike Ball. I understand. Approached the residence, made contact through the window near the front door of the residence. He made contact with the man through the glass. He advised him why the officers had been dispatched and asked him if he would allow him to enter the residence to obtain his version of the incident. He refused to open the door and insisted that officers speak with him through the window. He was visibly agitated and appeared to be extremely intoxicated. At that time, she advised that he had made threats to engage in a shootout with the police because he said he was never going back to jail again. And officers backed away from the residence. A second subject, another black male that was there, 30 years of age, wearing a red denim red jacket, was observed for a brief moment through the window inside the residence with their 3-year-old son. The person the one percenter was reported to have several large small guns and had stated, "I ain't going back to prison," prior to officers' arrival. And it was at that time that he called me on the phone back then. And if you go back and you look at the whole story, it was that time that he called me on the phone and he said, "Hey man, your daughter called the police on me." Well, I was like, "No, my daughter didn't call the police on you. My daughter, she doesn't call the police. That's not what she does. So what did you do to her?" "Well, I had to beat her because my house was dirty and she hadn't cooked my food." And so I asked him, man, I said, "Where's my grandson?" And I'm really shortcutting this from everything I said yesterday. I asked him, "Where's my grandson?" And he says, "Well, your grandson's in the bed." And I'm not going back to prison. It's better off if we're all dead. I ain't going back. And so I was beseeching this man, just let my grandson go, and you can do whatever you want. But he wouldn't let my grandson go. And that's what's important to know in this document. As we move forward, let me see. There we go. As we move forward, he reported to have several guns. He said, "I ain't going back to prison." At that time, they called the lieutenant. Lieutenant Arterberry was contacted and advised of the situation. Officers then held the scene until the Lieutenant Arterberry and Captain Scherer arrived. And I want to take the time to publicly thank them. I've never said anything about this for the last 7 years, close to 8 years. I've never said a word about this. But now that I'm talking about it, I want to make sure to thank the lieutenant and the captain. Because of their actions, my grandson is still alive. At that time, my daughter's sister saw and his stepfather arrived on the scene separately. Both were advised to vacate the area and park nearby. The stepfather allowed Captain Scherer to make contact with him, the one percenter, by cell phone. He denied the allegations against him, but refused to exit the residence. While on the phone with Captain Scherer, he opened the blinds and he was observed picking up and holding his son, my grandson. He held the child in such a way that it appeared as though he were using the child as a shield to avoid arrest. So when I say you were using my grandson as a human shield, this came directly from the officer's report and from the phone call I had with you. After several unsuccessful attempts to convince him to exit the residence, Captain Scherer advised officers, "Thank you, Captain. to back away from the residence and release the scene as it was in the best interest of the child. This is the first time in history I've ever known a black man to tell the police, to hell with you, you're not coming in my house, and they walked away and didn't kill everybody. They did that for my grandson because his papa wasn't looking out for him. But yet somehow I get the blame. Yeah, blame me. Anyway, they backed away or released the scene for the best interest of the child. The police department was thinking about the best interest of my grandson because he was being held as a human hostage. I just don't even know how to thank them enough. My daughter was transported to Del City Police Department to conduct a formal interview. She stated the incident began at about 2 o'clock in the morning when the one percenter and his friend arrived at the residence intoxicated. He became irate when he observed that the house was not clean or his dinner was not prepared prior to him returning home at 2 o'clock in the freaking morning. During the argument, he began to prepare himself a TV dinner, but he got mad and threw it at her. So she retreated to the bedroom where her son was asleep, and that's how her son woke up. He followed her into the bedroom and continued to scream at her, stating, "You think this is a game?" And then he called my darling daughter a raggedy bitch. Then he demanded that she get out of his house. Get the F out my house. And threatened to harm her if she stayed. He stated, "I will fuck you up," because he could not control himself. Then, afraid to leave without her son, who was now in the living room because he had wakened up when his dad's abusing his mom in front of him, he wakes up, runs into the living room at the time of that incident. He's hanging out with his good friend that was in the living room with him. That's when my daughter began stalling, like not leaving the house because she was afraid. She had explained to me that many times when he would argue, my grandson would say, "Leave mommy alone. Stop fighting mommy." But this time was different. This time he was very, very angry, irate, and very drunk, and she was afraid that a "leave mommy alone" might get him knocked out. So she was trying to delay being thrown out of the house, which I was later told happened all the time, a regular occurrence. Get the hell out of my house. So as she was stalling, trying not to be thrown out of the house, because she was afraid for my grandson, her son, his son, she began stalling. So he got really, really mad and grabbed her by the neck and slammed her face against the flat screen. Now, she explained to me that, the crazy things that go through your mind, she was thinking, oh my gosh, our brand new TV is getting ready to fall on the ground. And it occurred to her that she realized that the only reason that the TV hadn't fallen on the ground is because he was using her head to hold the TV still up against the wall through her neck that he was strangling. Hard to believe, isn't it? So now, not being able to contain himself because she didn't just get out the house right now when he told her to, slammed her up against the flat screen TV in the bedroom, strangling her. Have you ever been strangled? Can't breathe? Then he struck my child in the face and threatened now to kill her, grabbing her by her hair and throwing her out into the front yard through the front door. If you won't get out, I'll choke the shit out of you and throw you out the front door. Now, she fled, fled the scene, he said. She went next door. And from the front yard of the next door, called the police using her cell phone while standing in the neighbor's yard. After contacting the police, she then called her pastor, Evangelist Wendy, I can't speak. Evangelist Wendy, we call her Pastor Wendy. She called Pastor Wendy, later identified as Wendy Bryant, and she advised the pastor that several times in the past she had called the pastor after she'd been beaten up. She didn't call her daddy. She called the pastor. After being assaulted on previous occasions, while on the phone with the pastor, he came outside and stated, "If you called the police, I'll kill you. If I found out you've called the police right now, I'll kill you." She insisted she had only contacted the pastor because she knew what was coming. But he continued the assault, striking her in the face with enough force to knock the phone to the ground. He then obtained her phone, which had broken into pieces, and threw it out into the street. She said that she had attempted to record the whole assault using a specialized application that they have for battered women, but they couldn't find the phone. It couldn't be located at the time of the incident. He then dragged my daughter back towards the residence while telling her he would kill her if she made a scene. He said, "Bitch, if the police show up at my house, I will get my gun and kill you first." After everything else goes down, whatever the case may be, you're going to get it first. Then he said, "I'll have a shootout with the police because I'm not going back to prison." She attempted to flee, but he grabbed her and threw her to the ground several times until he managed to drag her back to the front door of the residence. While on the porch, and she told me, I was fighting with all my might not to get pulled back into that house because I knew what might happen to me. Because he had told me he'd kill me. I knew that he was going to kill me if he got me back in that house. At this point, she's on the front door fighting as hard as she could not to get pulled back in that house. He said, "Fuck it. I got something for you. I got something for you." You know, everybody could only imagine what that could be. What could it be? Are you going to hurt my son to get back at me? You're going to come out with a gun to kill me? What does "I got something for you" mean? It don't mean nothing good. It don't mean nothing good at all. Whatever you got for me, when you get in there and get it, we're probably going to go from bad to worse here. So he said, "I got something for you." And he went back into the residence. Afraid that her son might get hurt, she approached the door even closer, but maintained her distance, trying to stall until the police arrived, which they finally did after what seemed like forever. And as soon as he saw them, he retreated, they said, retreated into the residence and secured the door. While my daughter provided a written statement, the officer made with Pastor Wendy on the phone. Pastor Wendy said to the officer that she was contacted after my daughter had been choked. While she was on the phone with my daughter, she stated, Pastor Wendy stated, she could hear a male subject begin shouting, "Put the phone down." The subject sounded as if I was getting closer to the phone each time he shouted at her. Pastor Winnie stated that then she heard the male subject shout, "I don't give a fuck who you're on the phone with." Just as the line disconnected, her information was obtained and included with the report. After completing the interview, dispatch advised that a third party, my daughter's sister, had just called and said that he had fled the house and a residence with my daughter's son and appeared to be extremely intoxicated. My daughter's sister was following the suspect vehicles, and the officers were dispatched to the area of Southeast 42nd and Woodford, where Officer Hogue, or Hogu, I think it might be Hogue, arrived in the area and observed the subject vehicle making an improper lane change and subsequently initiated a traffic stop in the block of 3900 South Sunny Lane. He said, I arrived on the scene but was informed that it was not the person that they thought it was in the vehicle. It wasn't the suspect. Instead, it was his stepfather, and the child was located in the back seat. And so the child was turned over to my daughter. She was transported to the scene, and the stepfather ultimately released the child into my daughter's custody without incident. He was issued a verbal warning for the traffic infraction and was released on the scene. And my daughter, and her child were released to her sister. Whereas the suspect got away. His location remained unknown at the time of the report, and it was believed that he used his father as a diversion to flee the scene. So that, my friends, was what happened. That's what happened. That's what started all this. So these are the receipts. This is what happens. This is the receipts. So when you say that I took the stand against a one percenter. Well, that's really not quite possible. And we'll see why. Here's another receipt. This is if you go to CF 20153994, you go to OCS.net. That's the Oklahoma State Courts Network, OCS.net. You type this in for the District Court of Oklahoma, and it's publicly available for you. It's publicly available. And what you're going to see when you pull this up is you're going to see the charges. The charges are domestic abuse by strangulation, kidnapping, domestic abuse, assault and battery, threatening to perform an act of violence, possession of a firearm in violation of being a felon. You're going to find all that right there. And what you're going to find is that only one of these resulted in a conviction. And you'll see right here, the conviction occurred because of a nolo contendere plea. So basically, in layman's terms, he was able to afford a decent attorney that got all these charges dismissed and got him a guilty plea without even having to allocute to the crimes he committed. He was able to say, I don't plead guilty. I just plead no contest. And the state can find me guilty because it has the evidence, but I'm not saying I'm guilty or not guilty. And he got 3 years probation for that. So there's no jury, no stand to take when you plead out on the case. These are the receipts. You plead out on a case, there's no jury, there's no stand. Here, you pled out. It says right here, everything you do. When you appeared in person with your counsel, you waived the reading of information. It's all right here, all the way down to the day you pled out. There was no trial to go and testify against you. These are called receipts. Here's the paperwork. No trial, just receipts. Black Dragon did not testify against you. Stop telling that goddamn lie. I would have. I had no problem for my daughter, bro. I just, man, I couldn't have sang quick enough. But I didn't. I didn't have to. So stop telling people that I did. You, on the other hand, if there was some testifying against a one percenter, that was you. because you took a full patch property to court to seize possession of her child. Here's some receipts. So the person that did the testifying, the person that brought the white folks in, that person was you. That's you. See, here we are. Here's your name, plaintiff, my kid, defendant, and this is where you filed to take her child from her. And this is where you had to show up in court to dispose that. I got somewhere over here shows where where was it? Where you had her served. Where's that paperwork? Where you had her served. It's all here. You guys can see it if you pull up this case number. Here you took her to court. You filed here's where you called her all kinds of things, including a drug addict and a person who sells drugs and all this kind of stuff. Well, you snitched real hard. And here's where the Department of Human Services, Child Human Services, came in after you made all those allegations against a property in the Wheels of Soul Nation, a full patch property. You went to court against her. You're the one who went to court against a 1%er. And here's where the Department of Human Services said all that stuff you said about her was BS. We find that there's not a dog to hunt in here, and we're not even gonna even attach ourselves to all of this bad mother stuff you said. It's right here. There's the receipt. And so when you filed for custody, you filed for custody. And I said this in the other video, all this stuff happened in May, June, July. In August, you filed, and she never filed one court document except for a temporary restraining order. She didn't file one court document until she had to go back in September and file a cross order for custody because you took her to court to take her child away after the kidnapping failed. And so here we have the entry of appearance. Here's the application and so after her attorney died, her first attorney died, the second attorney came in, and so here's where we come to the took a stand. I did take a stand. I just didn't take the stand. And the stand I took was when they got that temporary restraining order against you, she still had to go to court 5 or 6 or 7 times. And the funny thing that people don't know is when you get a restraining order against somebody, it's just a piece of paper. When you got to go to court, you got to park in the same parking lot as that guy. There's no victim's parking lot. You got to walk across the street in the same crosswalk as that guy. You got to walk into the building with that guy, the one who beat the hell out of you and tried to choke you. And you have to go through the area, I call it the CY area for the court. They got a place to protect their butts. They check you for guns and everything. That's the first time you have any protection from the parking lot to the front door. And then you walk through there and there's no protection as you walk down the hall next to this creep. You get in the escalator with this elevator, rather. You get in the elevator with this creep and you ride up to the 4th or 5th floor, or whatever floor, you ride down to the basement, wherever you go. And this person's looking at you and jeering at you the whole time. And by the time you get to that courtroom, you're absolutely terrified. Unless you got a daddy. And you call your daddy. And your daddy says, "Oh, You're going to walk from that parking lot, across that crosswalk, up them stairs, to the gun check place, to the machines, down the hall, to the elevator, up to the such and such floor, and into that courtroom. And nobody is going to stop you, harass you, harangue you, stare you down, make you terrified. Those days are over. And so a stand was taken, just not the stand. So that is that's what happened. That's what happened that day. Those days, a stand was taken. And so the attorney, this new attorney of hers, because her first attorney died, just came up dead one day. And so this attorney comes in and says, "Oh, all of this marching down the corridor of shame, that's over." And so what he did was he said that they're going to now do the hearing by telephone, so she didn't have to go through that anymore. And there was this one piece of paper where they both decide, they both agree that they're going to wait until his case is heard, his criminal case, before the judge makes a decision on custody. And so in the criminal case, as you saw, he pled no contest, which is the same thing as a guilty plea in terms of how it's adjudicated. He pled no contest and got probation and a fine, small fine, $500 or something. And after he pled guilty, then we get this piece of paper here, which is the judge ordered a permanent protection order, VPO, Victims Protection Order, a permanent Victims Protection Order. In this thing, the Victims Protection Order resolves the issue of visitation and custody in the paternity case. So with this permanent Victims Protection Order, they didn't even hear the paternity case, the custody case. They found that there was a significant, credible fear of you killing everybody like you said you would. And so they gave her a protection order, and that's how you lost custody of your child. It wasn't Black Dragon taking the stand against the one percenter and causing him to lose custody. It was you who initiated court action in a vindictive move to take her child away from her from May, June, July, August, September, November. She never took a proceeding against you except a temporary restraining order. And you did all the rest. You called in the lawyers and the attorneys and all that stuff. You did that. So when you tell these people these excitable utterances to turn the rah-rah on, just tell them the truth. I screwed up and lost my family because folks didn't feel like they needed to be beaten and choked and drug across the mud in the puddle of water in the middle of the front yard, getting their brains beaten out in front of their 3-year-old son. Enough with that shit. Don't have to do it. It's America. Don't have to live like that. You don't have the right to just kill people. If I can't have you, nobody can. All that old kind of stuff. So they let it go. It wasn't me, although I'm glad that they did what they did. I'm glad they did. It was you. You. You did that. And if anybody lost custody, it was the grandparents. I haven't seen my grandson in years. Your parents haven't seen their grandson in years. We lost the custody. We lost it. So I hope I didn't bully you, didn't put out any identifiable information, just the case numbers. FP 2015-600. Anybody can look that up. OCN.net. FP 2015-600. These are the court papers. These are the receipts. You can look these up. You can get the transcripts and let me know who you see in any transcripts doing any testifying. VPO 2015-963. So these are the receipts. Put them back up so you can see them. They're all right here. FP 2015-600. That's the story. All right. So, hopefully we made this a lot shorter. Still too long, but needed to tell that story. This one won't be taken down. All right, that's my 2 cents. Look here, we got some good stuff coming up, but let's see. I'll be at the PROC later this month, and this weekend they're having a party out there. It's going to be the Thunder Guard and the Wheels of Soul. They're having this huge day party. I think I have the flyer somewhere here. This huge day party they're going to have. It's going to be a lot of fun for them. Where's that flyer at? I got it somewhere here. And so you're definitely invited there to go have fun with those guys and hang out. You never touch a flyer when you want one, right? And I will put that out again when I do my show tomorrow. I'm sure I'll have the flyer then in hand. But it's going to be, let me see, right here.
Opening voice.
Let's see. Is this it? Okay, I think, man, it just frustrates me. I had that flyer earlier. I can't find it. If I don't set this stuff up, and as soon as I hang up this thing, the flyer come to me just that fast. But anyway, is this it? Here it is. Is it? Yeah, this is it. Hey, I found it. Okay. So the Wheels of Soul and Thunder Guards Motorcycle Club, Saturday, January 13 at 12 p.m. This is what they call a day party. It's going to be $15 to get in, $15 at the gate. And there'll be a live DJ, food trucks, drinks. It's going to be at Harleyville Clubhouse at, whoa, holy moly. Maybe I can enlarge it. Yeah, there we go. Harleyville Clubhouse at 1031 East Main Street, Harleyville, South Carolina. There are going to be campers and tents are welcome there. I've never been to Harleyville. I'm sure it's cool, a cool place named Harley. So we're going to check it out. But anyway, that's it. That's the day party. And it's going to be loads of fun. So I hope you guys are there this Saturday. And it's a very good possibility that I will be there interviewing folks, taking pictures, and selling my books, including my new book, The Social Club's Bible. Yeah. All right. So that's it for me right now. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm Black Dragon. That's my 2 cents. Love to hear your 2 cents in the comment section below. And like I say, if you want to see the entire video that I did, you can find it on Mike Ball's channel, Insane Wheels. And that's his YouTube channel. And on Facebook, it's Ball Valve TV or Mike Ball. So you can go check out the whole thing there. All right. I'm Black Dragon. That's my 2 cents. Love to hear your 2 cents in the comment section below. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend, even though we're not there yet, but have a good week coming up to the weekend. And I'll catch you guys later. Prepare yourself to take the helm as president of your mighty motorcycle club by delving into the pages of Black Dragon's newest book, The President's Bible, Chronicle 1, Principles of Motorcycle Club Leadership. There you will learn to advance your skills in applying the 14 scientific principles of leadership similar to those taught to officers in the United States Naval Service. Available in hardcover, paperback, and ebook. Get yours today on Amazon, Kindle, or order it at your local bookstore. Order your autographed copy from blackdragonsgear.com. Be the best motorcycle club president you can be. Get the book.
Get Black Dragon's first book, The Prospect's Bible, to learn how to join a motorcycle club. It has been an Amazon #1 bestseller for the past 7 years and is required reading for over 3,000 motorcycle clubs worldwide. This book is a must-have for new people venturing into the motorcycle club set. It will teach you how to prepare yourself for service to the motorcycle club nation and show you how to qualify a motorcycle club to be worthy of your service. Available on Amazon, Kindle, and for order at your local bookstore. Get your autographed copy at blackdragonsgear.com. Be the best motorcycle club prospect you can be. Get the book.